Hello and welcome to the Rupeeting podcast. We're here with another interesting topic, but before we start, none of this is to be taken as investment advice. It's all fun and games and a little bit of knowledge. So today we have Tejas
Hello.
next.
And I'm
Naman, say hi.
Laksh.
I'm Naman.
And
Thank you.
hello.
Hey, I'm Laksh.
Okay, and I'm Sagar.
Okay.
So, okay, starting with how many of you are good with directions?
नहीं
Me.
भाई लेफ्ट राइट का प्रॉब्लम है.
Oh,
I'm good with
should I tell
directions,
them
but
the
not
Goa
geography.
story? Should I
Oh
tell them the
yeah, your
Goa story?
geography is terrible.
Yeah, geography is terrible,
Right.
but directions are very good. So, like, if I start from somewhere, I know how to get to there anyhow. Like, you take me anywhere,
We're
you
not
leave me
talking
somewhere, I
about
will come.
we're not talking about
Yeah, but still.
people's parts.
No,
Okay, sorry.
there goes the 18 plus tag.
What is the Goa story though? This is intriguing.
What Goa story?
अरे your directions वाला story रे.
फिर
अब ये
इसको
वाला
लेफ्ट जाने का था,
Oh,
राइट राइट चला
so
गया.
every time I had to, I was the designated driver, na? So every time I had to take a left, they were like gear, like gear side, and every time I had to take a right, they were like steering, right side.
Re, re,
That's
re,
it.
re. That is too
I
bad.
am that bad.
It's much more complicated.
Yeah.
क्या?
So
Wow.
मेरा
Sure.
लेफ्ट
Do you
राइट का
use
प्रॉब्लम
Google
है.
Maps or
Yeah,
Yeah,
all the time.
I have to.
No, I don't. I don't like Google Maps.
hey,
I
then you're
prefer
not good
Apple
at
Maps over
directions.
Google Maps.
अरे
Who's good
मतलब
at
Hey,
directions?
you're
direction
too fancy, yeah.
direction
हाँ
he's a
हाँ.
kid यार.
Apple
He
Maps
goes
is
with
the
the driver
first class
everywhere.
thing.
No, they're nice only.
सबसे घटिया चीज है वो Apple
Okay.
Maps.
Sagar, are you using Google Maps in Leh? Is it allowed in Leh?
Uh,
To get laid.
Guys,
there's a lot.
the podcast is about Genesis, not mankind.
Sagar is lagged.
Yeah, Sagar's back.
Yeah,
Yeah, Sagar is frozen.
Sagar's frozen.
Just like the weather in Leh. Or the lake in Leh.
But we should appreciate Sagar being on the podcast from Leah.
Yeah, yeah. Our 94 subscribers should appreciate
Yeah.
the
Our
boss man
94
doing work from
subscribers,
everywhere.
even on the vacation.
I swear.
He is
Recently
the
he
real life
was,
Arjun from
yeah, he was
ZNMD.
titled,
Yeah.
yeah, minus the shiny sport.
And
चला ही गया.
चला गया.
He's like fuck off boys.
I swear, I'm done with this.
एडिटर ये वाला पार्ट प्लीज कट कर देना.
Put a marker na if you can.
Yeah, you can, I think. I think Naman
How
can.
how to put a marker?
There's some setting where
Right.
you can put a marker and from there you can like. Sagar is connected from two devices.
Arey,
Yeah.
the earlier one is lagging. Matlab, this is, I don't know how this is happening.
Yeah. I so kick that one out now.
Yeah, I'm doing
Now
it.
kick that out.
Arey, but we'll have to redo it or what now?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No,
We'll
we
cut
can
the
just tell
whole
the
part.
editor to edit it, no?
But will it look good? The
Yeah.
thing. It was very okay. Then I don't know.
I mean, it should अभी. Yeah, तो फिर we can just do it all over again. I don't mind.
हाँ चलो.
No.
Start 1, 2, 3.
नहीं not all over. कट करके वापस
हाँ,
चालू
तो-
करेंगे ना यहाँ से.
ठीक है चलो.
But we can start it that. Okay, ठीक है. We can start. I know where to start. We'll start
हाँ.
here.
Okay, तो
Cool.
बताओ.
Okay.
Boss man knows
So,
everything.
no, why do you use Apple Maps, Naman? You want to be too fancy?
Yeah. No reason. I just like using Apple Maps.
I have a joke on that.
Please don't
Go ahead.
mock me.
Because an apple a day keeps the doctor away, so he never goes to the hospital using those maps.
These are dad jokes.
I
It's
I
fine.
I want to put a vote into motion that we should kick Laksh from the
I
podcast.
would
I
happily,
second that.
I would happily get that. I would happily do that.
अरे बेशरम.
You don't want to do the podcast.
Not today at least, bro. I'm too sick.
Yeah,
Sick
let's
also,
get
not
back
like
to
what?
Genesis.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's get back to Genesis.
Yeah,
Huh,
Sagar, you were saying.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah,
So, um, Apple Maps sucks because it doesn't have Street View, and Google Maps
I
rocks
yeah,
because it
swear.
has Street View.
Yeah. Especially
agreed.
for all those people who belong to the
Have you
street.
guys used Street View?
I used to play with it a lot
Another
when
side.
वो Google World करके आता था ना, that 3D model of the entire Earth, and you can just
That is
place a
different.
pin.
Street View is different, and this
I,
is different.
but
No,
he's a
but
kid,
I
man.
used to get a street view there. Like you can just place a pin, and you can just get photos like 3D photos all around that pin.
Acha, Rasta. Okay.
This is the street
Ah,
view, right?
Yeah.
No, this
No,
is
this
not
is
Street
also
View.
not. This
no,
is
no.
Street
You
View
a
what?
street.
is ek to Street View is not on in India. You go to London or something
Yeah,
and then type a
US.
postcode there.
Oh,
Street view is basically you being on the road. You as if
Road,
you are
yeah.
on the road of that address. Like you are just.
oh,
अरे तो बेसिकली
Ah,
स्ट्रीट व्यू इज एक गाड़ी जाता है स्ट्रीट के ऊपर से दे हैव अ कैमरा एंड 360 डिग्री कैमरा दे टेक पिक्चर्स ऑफ द एंटायर रोड and then when you are on the map
huh,
na, the road looks exactly like that. So now if you're standing in front of Koregaon Park or you're on the Koregaon Park ka
huh,
bridge, if you swipe left on your camera you can see western on your left. If you swipe right you
yeah.
can see the north main road. It's like that.
okay. I thought this was street view.
No,
No,
that
yeah.
is I think
No,
virtual view or something.
Have you
that
ever
is just a
not played
3D
with
map.
that?
So rather than having a
Yeah,
2D
3D
map,
map.
this just gets layered and it gives
Oh,
you a view
so
in a
this
different
is street
image.
view.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes, yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Uh,
And
Do
you
you
can
all
walk
know
up and
due
down
to
and all of that.
like a lot of
Yeah.
people have gotten caught on this like the Google Maps. A lot of people have gotten caught because it takes 360-degree camera pictures. And suppose like someone is in their bedroom on the ground floor and the curtains are open. So like there's a meme being posted around recently that a guy got caught doing something that we can't mention out here on that
Yeah.
Google Street View.
But there are a lot of
2016
pictures of like people
Yeah,
slipping or
yeah,
falling
yeah.
and then like
Yeah.
accidents
Yeah.
happening.
Accidents
I saw one
happening.
where they are jumping ऐसे वो बच्चा jump कर रहा है और वैसे ही frozen है हवा में and that
Yeah.
is caught.
There are a lot of funny
Yeah.
things on Street View as well.
Google
So
is a
Street View
pioneer in
is,
this thing, right?
What?
yeah, like I mean, they started in 2008. 7 or 8, they started with a few cities in the US and then they spread out globally. But India's yet not launched. Imagine it's like 2023, 15 years after Google first launched
Oh,
Street View,
damn.
and we still don't have it here. But that's
Because India is
changing.
that complicated.
No, they
No,
just
but
will tell us how to do things.
because
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
So India has this regulatory norms and regulations which doesn't allow foreign companies to have the rights over the images or you can say the mapping of that street view that is needed. And these licenses can be holded like uh, can be what do you say
held.
taken
Held.
by held the fuck held by Indian companies. So one of the companies that has these licenses is Genesis, and it has been in the news for like couple of years now. It has been around for 20 years, more than 20 years, but it is in news and in focus for last couple like 2 years or 3 years.
And what
So
would
is
Yeah.
be
So
Genesis the
the
only
basically,
company doing it?
no, no. So nobody will for time pass go and do it. You have to get a contract from somebody to actually go and spend the money to do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
So Google wanted to launch in India, but then there's too many regulatory hassles. There's too much happening in terms of, so there are too many tiny streets. There are too many places which are sensitive from a defense standpoint, or local authorities have these issues of यहाँ पे permission लेना पड़ता है and all of those things. So it's very difficult to coordinate at a municipal level, state level, national level, get permission sorted at all levels for a foreign entity, especially who doesn't know their way around in India. So
Yeah.
it's easier for Google to say, Ki, let me license it out from somebody else. So give somebody else the contract to map the entire thing out, and then they'll buy or license the entire map from that company. So that's where Genesis comes into play, and Genesis will send its cars, and in small streets they send people with devices, and these guys move around, take 360-degree data, then they stitch it up all together, and then provide that entire thing to Google, and Google will integrate that into the Google Maps app, and then we'll have Street View. So that's how it'll work.
So wouldn't it be like a monopoly or something that if Genesis does it once, Google can use it and whoever else wants to use it. Like if Apple Maps wants to do the same thing, they can just go and license it out again from Genesis, right? Or no?
Yeah, yeah. So I think the one-time effort is a lot, but and you need constant upgradation as well, right?
Yeah.
Because in a developing country like India, there's a lot changing in terms of the landscape at all times. So any
Yeah.
street in London, for example, will not change much, but some street in not even Mumbai maybe, but some remote area you go to within Mumbai also, there will be a lot of development happening. A building will come up which
Dharavi.
didn't exist before,
Yeah.
and yeah, Dharavi will look entirely different. So
Yeah.
all those things will
There
have
is
to be
one thing.
redone all the time.
So Genesis has the licensing for whatever data they collect beforehand for Google. But after the data has been handed over to Google, and after that, when people start using it, and whatever data is collected from that point onwards will be under
Google.
Google and not under Genesis.
So Google is like the owner of that database. Genesis
Yeah,
doesn't rent it
whatever
No,
out.
no,
data is
the
collected by
license
They
holder.
Genesis.
so basically Google
So it's
buys
like
it from
renting an
Genesis. They
apartment,
don't
na?
rent.
So
That's how.
yeah, yeah, that's why it's called a license agreement. They don't buy it. It's
Huh.
not a transfer of
Hmm.
ownership. It is rights to utilize the data
Use.
in whatever manner they want
Yeah.
to.
So basically this can result into like continuous revenue for Genesis for like the foreseeable future, like forever basically. Until and unless
No,
Google
I
does
think
something.
the details of the deal are not out. But what it looks like, at least like intuitively, what it seems like is that there'll be a heavy lifting in the front, because like the initial years will require them to actually map out everything from scratch for the first
Yeah,
time. So that will require
that's
a lot
true.
of money, and revenue generation will be maximum at that point in time. And then it'll only be on a maintenance basis where upgradation happens. कोई street का ऐसे नक्शा पूरा बदल गया है, so you want to go and redo that map, etc. So that will be maintenance, which will be lower in terms of revenue. But I'm also thinking that probably since it's a license agreement, in general, usually license agreements work on a royalty, like royalty, that every year
Hmm.
you'll pay me a certain amount. So then it'll be steady revenue after the first maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 years when the mapping is taking place.
But the question
But
here
as I
comes in
said,
that
that
is
whatever data after
okay.
it has been done and handed over to Google, मतलब अगर एक बार स्ट्रीट व्यू चालू हो गया इंडिया में, उसके बाद
Huh.
जो भी डेटा will be collected from the phone will be under Google and not under Genesis.
Okay, so
Huh.
Genesis
Yeah.
can go
User
and
data is a
rent
different
it
thing.
out.
Yeah.
Not user data.
Or user.
So,
He's saying
uh,
first data also. Start data.
हाँ,
Scratch from scratch to finish, the product will be handed over to Google, and Genesis has no control over that after that. So it's
yeah.
like a
Oh,
sale
वो
kind
सब
of
नहीं.
thing.
हाँ. Sure.
So that is why when
Yeah.
you say ना कि अगर कुछ maintenance हुआ या कोई changes हो गए, तो those changes will also be recorded by the phones that people are using. Like everyone will be using Google Maps Street View. तो उसमें से जो data
Um,
आएगा that will be used.
no, but that doesn't happen all the time, right? Like for example, like if the data also has to be in a certain format for it to be integrated. People's phones
Right,
won't record 360-degree. So you're wrong on
right.
that part. It's there are two kinds of data, right? There is mapping data and there is user data. Mapping
Okay.
data is only collection, analysis, integration, all has to be done by the Indian player, which is Genesis in this case.
Okay.
So whenever some maintenance has to happen, some person from Genesis will have to go down, map it again, and that mapping is not something you do on your phone. That requires
Yeah.
special equipment which captures images at a 360-degree level in a
Right. Right.
format which can be stitched together with earlier images.
Okay.
So you can't use any phone for it or any camera for it. So that will always remain with Genesis because the new law by the government, which is the geospatial policy, that
Huh.
mandates every mapping data plus collection plus analysis plus whatever you add on to it to be done only by Indian companies. So Google will
Okay.
not have control over that at all. They will have to continue maintenance with Genesis only.
So that's a good
Okay.
regulation for Genesis.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
But
like a
the
good
question here
So
business
is:
model.
maintenance part will be under Genesis.
Is
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Google
And
the only customer?
I mean,
No,
I
no, no,
think
no,
it's the
no.
biggest customer.
So Google is the biggest customer in this case, but the customer can be anything. Like for example, a good example we mentioned in the blog is OLX. So OLX Homes, for example, or take any
Hmm.
home portal, housing.com. Le lo. If
Hmm.
housing.com wants to give you an option that whenever you search for a house, you can see the locality around the house, right?
Yeah.
That will use Street View. So you can
Hmm.
actually, while selecting a house, you can take a virtual tour of the area to get a look and feel of कि मैं कौन से area में रह रहा हूँ, is there a slum around, are there grocery stores available nearby, is it a clean area or not. So users will be able to use that. So in this case, a housing.com or a whatever 99 acres can actually use this data or take a license of this data from Genesis again and
Hmm.
Yeah.
build on top of that.
Can it be in this way that they can give you an actual view of the house also, like what, suppose from the balcony or from the window of your particular house, like they can integrate it in such a way
Yeah.
which
Yeah. They do that. OLX
like
के लिए.
so like you can actually see not just your street ka view but like on a larger picture from suppose like a fifth floor or a 10th floor from your balcony or window how the area would look at. Do you think that can also happen using this or no?
I guess that can happen, but it will take a lot of effort. Like you'll have to
हाँ
go
मतलब intensity is high ना because you have to go into every house and do that.
Hmm.
Yeah, correct.
But that is something, and that's exactly what this one like Genesis had created a product called Vonobo. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Vonobo was later sold to OLX only for their home division, where they would go and map the entire house. So when you're looking
Yeah.
to rent, you don't just see pictures of the house; you can actually walk through the
But
house and see the
yeah,
entire house.
that virtual
Um,
walk-in system.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I think this can be very useful for like restaurants, stores, malls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody can actually integrate it at some level where there's a street view, but inside the property and not just
inside the
outside.
property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's both ways, right? Inside and outside as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And you were
This is
mentioning
pretty
that
amazing.
Google is the biggest customer, but it has other customers as well. Like telecom companies are the customers. Uh,
Hmm.
Big like the restaurants can be the customers to have a better positioning of their restaurant. They can analyze the data that
Hmm.
is from Genesis. That data is integrated into a software which is under Tech Mahindra or some other company which can actually convert that data into something more which can be analytical and
Do
not
you
just
think
pictorial.
Do you think after a point of Tech Mahindra is also in this, that in their cars they will integrate this pre-hand and instead of using Google Maps, people can use something like Mahindra car own maps? Or no, that's too much effort
No,
for
That won't
Mahindra.
make sense, no, because the point of Street View is not only navigation, but it is also like Google's ideal aim is to merge classifieds and Street View together. So when you're, for example, on a Street View, you're navigating, you can see a store. Like imagine this thing, actually the Google Glass, right? If you're wearing a Google
yeah,
Glass, you've got your Street View on there, and then when
Hmm.
you're walking on the street, you can actually see a store or a restaurant, for example, and you can see that the menu pops up right there.
Hmm. This all
So
yeah,
comes in
you want
line
to do
with
that kind of
their AR
integration.
future.
Yeah. So I think they want to integrate a classified or search business with the map and then try to monetize that as well. So, for example, you're walking down a street and there are 10 restaurants. Each restaurant can they can maybe take money from restaurants to say that we'll highlight your position on the street view. That we'll
Yeah,
put a like
Yeah.
point towards it, or we'll highlight it, or we'll show your menu, or we'll put a
yeah,
star on top of it, or whatever.
Star
yeah.
or like your
Or
rating
we
or
can just
something.
highlight the ratings for the restaurant
Yeah.
Yeah.
for the customer in the glass.
Cool, bro. No one steal my point, bro.
What?
Nothing. Everyone's just lagging at me. Oh, I'm lagging.
So what about
So
numbers? Where does Genesis lie there?
Stages.
What
we
a
get to the numbers, financials. We'll get to that.
Finance.
ए
There is one
जल्दी
more
भाग
thing.
मत तू पहले ब्लॉक पढ़ और ऐसे सीक्वेंस में जा.
हाँ ना उस नमन
अच्छा,
खत्म
what
करना है उसको
next?
2 मिनट में.
ए नहीं रे.
No, so but it's interesting
नमन.
how like Genesis got selected for by Google, right? It's a company that you've probably never heard of. It's been existing
Yeah,
for
that's
like
true.
more than 20 years. But how did Google come to Genesis? Like, what is in Genesis, a
Hmm.
company that makes about 150 crores in revenue, which is absolute peanuts in front of what Google does? Sundar Pichai ka salary is more than Genesis ka pura revenue combined for the last 10 years.
You don't you don't need to take
Why
such
is
digs,
Genesis in the picture?
Sagar.
Yeah, why is it so?
That is hurt
Because
them on
of
a
the
personal level.
licensing thing.
But no one has
That
that
is why
No,
technology.
because
Genesis.
No other
also,
company.
even the 2012 video was out there where Genesis was doing it by themselves. This is where you want to talk about,
Yeah,
right?
2013. Yeah. So in 2013,
Ah,
Genesis was trying to compete with Google Maps, and you did not like it did not converge to anything else,
So
and it
Genesis
failed.
was making a map app for its like own map app.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like Google Maps, it was making a map. I don't know the name,
G
but something like that.
Maps.
no,
It is already Gmaps.
अरे yeah, but Gen app. Something like that.
So just like what Map My India did.
I don't know what Map My India is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a mapping company only.
Tell
Okay,
us more about it, Naman, please.
yeah,
Not
go ahead.
today. Maybe some other
put him
blog,
in a
some
spot.
बोलना सीधे सीधे आता नहीं है कुछ. Naman,
No,
So
so,
in yeah, go ahead.
no, no, go on. 2013.
So 2013, I tried to give a competition to Google, but it failed. And then because of this licensing thing that Indian government proposed, Genesis was approached by Google, and that is where Genesis came into picture.
so basically, they made a competitor their partner, or like
Hmm.
a business partner.
No, no, yeah, partner is now, na, but they tried to beat
Ah,
Google at its game back then. And
but that was sorry, not the bro.
they mapped out 1.5 lakh kilometers across multiple cities at that point. So they
Okay.
finished a lot of work even back then, but they just didn't launch it for whatever reason, and they sold the product off to OLX at that point. But the point is that now I think Google saw that अगर किसी के साथ partner करना है, तो there's this player who they've already seen do this. However tiny they
Hmm.
are, they did try and map out a lakh and a half kilometers. And Google's deal is built in such a way that, or Google's roadmap at least, says that they want to do 1.5 lakh kilometers first, launch it in 100 cities, not 100, whatever number, 10 cities,
50
sorry.
cities. Yeah.
And then move on to mapping another 7.5 lakh kilometers and launch it in 50 cities. And 1.5 lakh, these guys had already done. So I mean, it's obviously obsolete data. They'll have to do it
Yeah,
again.
Yeah.
But they know exactly कौन से point पे क्या trouble आता है,
क्या
map
करना है?
कहाँ पे integrate करना है, कौन सा error आता है, किससे permission लेनी है, कहाँ all of that shit. So they're already like in tune with that.
So
So the execution time
all
will be much faster.
yeah, and all the headaches of permission and all are Genesis ka headaches. Google doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what they're paying for, right?
So when Genesis had launched this map in 2013 or whatever, done this mapping, They had done like a similar thing to Google only, or they were trying Street View back then also.
Street View. Google Maps
Hmm.
was already there, na? They were trying to build Street View for
No,
India,
no.
so that's why they were such like.
Oh, okay. That- sorry, I can't because but
लक्ष्य बहुत ब्लर नहीं दिख रहा है सबको.
Nee, he's looking
it was
okay.
better.
Okay, only, yeah.
इतना दूर जाके बैठता है कुछ शक्ल भी नहीं दिखता है. It's better only.
Yeah.
Better.
Such ass.
नहीं 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 दिख रहा था वही अच्छा था.
Okay, guys, that's enough for me for the podcast. See you all next week.
कहाँ जाएगा तो बाहर भी नहीं जा सकता क्या ही करेगा
I
निकल के
swear it's pouring right now.
you have nothing better to do than sit here and listen to us and talk to us
Chill
No,
with
I
us.
have I have now complete my but it's okay. Moving on.
बोलूं मैं?
Let me.
Moving on.
moving on so Genesis is not only good at Street View but they've been in existence for 20 years so they're good at a lot more things and those lot more things I don't understand but they just understand so they just shall
Yeah.
they just what is
So
Genesis good at
it is good at a lot of technologies which can be like lidar. Wait, yeah, it's a big
full form
list.
बता LiDAR का
Oh, LiDAR.
Light, light detection, light
LIDAR.
detection, light detection. What is the full form? रुक, क्या है?
he had put me in a
Light
situation like
detection
Yeah,
that
and
yeah,
ranging.
yeah,
or
yeah.
some
You don't
shit
have, you don't know.
Light detection and ranging. यार वो ए का नहीं समझ रहा था.
It was the
Light
simplest
detection and
one.
ranging.
okay please
What does it
So
mean?
What does it do
layman's
basically?
language
All the
हाँ
civil
सब लोग आ
engineers
जाओ.
would understand.
मारो मुझे.
If out of the
हम
94
कॉमर्स वाले कहाँ
subscribers,
समझेगा ये सब.
I swear, engineer साहब.
मैं अगर कुछ बोलूँ तो सागर बोलेगा मेक इट साउंड लाइक मेक इट अ लेमन लैंग्वेज जो मेरे को आता नहीं है. तो फिर
अरे no, no, you do
सागर
that,
यू
then
ओनली एक्सप्लेन.
Sagar will ease it out.
No, no,
You explain
that
it.
is the problem. Sagar is like, no, no.
So basically,
Sagar,
it's
you only
used
explain.
what civil. It's basically what civil engineers use to calculate the distance and everything of the roads.
Yeah, yeah. Like you can map, like if you use the LiDAR sensors, you
Yeah.
can measure the distance between two objects, or you can measure the distance, like you can use it for mapping the room, like all the furniture in that room can be mapped
Okay.
out in a uh,
3D view.
computer software. Yeah, 3D software,
Okay.
and that can be used later on to move things
Oh,
around.
so it is one of the main things that is used in the street view
AI.
wala.
Yeah,
Yeah.
हाँ,
so this can be used in interior design as well, right? That if
yeah,
you
yeah,
will move things around, so like table you can put somewhere to see.
yeah,
So like then
So
interior designing companies can also be a target audience, or they already have this
yeah,
technology.
yeah. They are already using this technology,
Okay.
and like you know the game Pokemon Go, where you
Yeah.
were going around the city and finding
Yeah.
Pokemons.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
is
You could
also
see a
using
Zara.
LiDAR. Yeah,
Okay. So
that
then I
technology.
could see Charizard
oh,
in my Kirane ka dukan, so that was LiDAR.
Yeah,
so major game developers who are building the
huh.
games over the lidar system are
Sagar is
can
what
be
this
major
guy.
customer base for Genesis.
But
Not just
not yeah. I think
no,
it's
but
more
it is not used. इंडिया
in
में आके
every
क्यों
game.
करेंगे ना?
No, yeah, exactly.
इंडिया में
अभी
आके गेम
Google
क्यों बनाएंगे?
Pokemon
नहीं नहीं
had something that's why like Pokemon was doing something on a global scale like that, so it makes sense. Now if GTA launches
Yeah,
something like GTA India or something, and they want completely realistic houses and all, then they might take up
yeah,
this
that's
technology.
what it might happen. That's what I'm saying.
Might, yeah.
yeah.
So basically, we can visit
But
Leh from Pune also. unlike
Yeah,
some other people who actually visit it.
and not just visit, but you will get a better view, better experience. Like,
Sagar,
जो- we'll find Sagar on Gmap then.
I swear, on his breakfast, early morning breakfast.
No, no,
Hmm.
after
No, no. Oh no, Sagar cycling to
Ha,
that
better.
no, no, Sagar was not
pass.
cycling today.
No, on
I'm not
Friday
riding.
tomorrow, so yeah. That's what she said.
Yeah, so
I had to do it for Ayush, yeah.
yeah. So this
So,
technology that Genesis has, it can also be not just for Google Maps or something like that, but it can also be used for smart city planning. Uh, then you can use it for like telecom industries can places where the and towers need to
they,
be put
they
for
just,
better
you'll have to
network.
repeat that pointer, you lagged out.
I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that data can be used for developing like smart city development, telecom industries, then for infrastructure development of the cities, like better placement of transportation and everything. So that is where Genesis will come into picture. And it is already doing that
And
for Indian government under the project called Digital Twin. Sagar will take it on from here.
Hey, why
I
will
have
I take it?
another
Hello.
question. I have a question.
Yeah, yeah.
So, can all these virtual reality companies use this? Like, you put on a headset and, like, because you mentioned you can see Ladakh from a certain place. So, like, someone
Huh.
who can't trek up to Ladakh, they can just put on
Yeah,
a
yeah.
VR headset and just an
Yeah,
example
so
I'm
all
putting,
the
Sagar.
heritage places in India that will be using something like this. So you can have the tours of that place from by sitting at your
Oh,
home.
Oh, I have a business idea actually now. I shall
Yeah, tell.
share.
Not right now, after the
No, not
recording.
right now. Yeah, after the recording.
Acha, you want to sound stupid only in front of us.
No, Are it's not stupid. It's actually a genius idea. We'll make a lot of money out of it.
Cool, cool.
Just because you
Then
call
we'll
me
do after.
stupid, I'm not taking you as a partner now.
Oh shit. So I'm not taking you as a partner in my idea also. You know
I
which
know,
one?
no. Oh, acha, I mean, which one?
Arey, it will sound wrong if I say it because the business idea is
Oh,
very.
okay, okay. No, no, no. I thought in the current one. I thought in repeating only. You'll be like, अरे
नहीं नहीं वो
partner ने बना दिखा.
बॉम्बे में बताया था
Yeah,
ना.
yeah, 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 yeah. We understood. We understood. But this is a nice
Good.
idea. Remind me. I'll tell you about it. Damn
and
interesting.
no one being lost here, not knowing what you guys are speaking.
Yeah, we'll put you to
We'll tell
speed.
you also about it.
नहीं,
Yeah,
बच्चों को नहीं बता सकते ये चीजें.
Hey
yeah, that's
यार,
also true. You need
गलत
to
है
have
ये.
some experience in life for that.
So
इतना
moving
So,
मस्त
back.
स्क्रीनशॉट मिलता है मुझे.
अरे यार. So now
So
talking
there were
about
हाँ,
we.
numbers,
so
maybe.
हाँ, so digital twin
Digital
and where
twin.
it can be.
What is
Yeah, no.
that?
So I think. Oh, you didn't cover that or what? Cover no, then Tejas.
No.
What is
I
a
What is
told
digital
that?
about
twin?
smart city planning and
Tejas,
you
so
tell
tell
that
us.
bit. No, no,
Okay.
you tell that bit.
So, so digital twins are actually digital twins are a very old concept, and they have been very commonly used in machinery. तो जब फैक्ट्री में मशीनरी चलता है there is a machine which sort of produces something which say it not produces it refines the raw material in some way from a pipe it passes it on to another machine. Okay, so if that is the simple assembly ले लो तुम तो उसका एक digital twin create होता है which is used in a control panel which using sensors is always tracking ki what level of raw material is there inside, कितना heat है, कितना pressure है, और वो निकल रहा है या नहीं निकल रहा, output का कहीं पे अटक रहा है या नहीं अटक रहा, is it going into the next machine? So all this you don't need to physically examine. Using sensors and using imagery, this is entire thing is, ये वापस म्यूट कर देता है यार, ये तू वीडियो मत बंद किया कर लक्ष्य,
इतना
गंदा
म्यूट
दिखता है
वाला नहीं है।
पॉडकास्ट पे।
अरे sorry. अरे I was getting a
कैसा
sneeze
इंसान है
यार.
यार।
I was getting a sneeze, that's why.
हाँ तो put your video on, no then sneeze, it's okay, it's humanly only।
अरे
हाँ
He's
okay।
not doing anything.
Why it was so quiet on the podcast after Laksh went on mute?
हाँ you mute, don't put your video off, face is nice, just
अच्छा
mute।
okay.
हाँ शांति। Okay, so basically, instead of physically examining the machine at all times, what you do is you create a digital twin, which is basically imagery plus sensors giving you data as well as insights on a real time basis into what is happening with that machinery and with the entire output at that point in time. So, that if there's something wrong there, you can easily figure it out. You can troubleshoot. You can, if the machine is clogged, you can go repair it. And all the data is available for you to also make improvements. So over time if you realize
Correct.
that और भी कुछ output निकल रहा है तो यहाँ पे एक machine दूसरा लगा के वहाँ पे divert कर सकते हैं, or you can store material here or whatever. There are too many questions, sorry, that can be answered।
I
Sorry,
have,
yeah,
I have, I have one question. So,
yeah,
do you all remember the movie 2012?
Yeah.
In that,
Huh.
when that motor stops working, they show like a digital imagery, na, that there's something stuck in the motor and that's why it's not going in the
Yeah.
ending. So, is that something like digital twins
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
that's
Yeah, so
giving the
not only
viewers
mapping
an idea?
companies, but manufacturing companies are also can be a customer base for Genesis.
Yeah, so basically wait, that is later, अभी तो digital twins में first। So एक तो ये machinery में हुआ, but where does a mapping company come into place here, right? So industrial
Yeah.
usage for Genesis is not much. It comes into play digital twins when you are actually creating a digital twin of an entire network, for example। अभी अगर तुम्हारा fiber लगा हुआ है internet का, right, that underground fiber that goes through an entire city, that can have a digital twin। So if there is a connection that is
Okay.
broken somewhere, you can see it virtually on a control panel कि कहाँ पे connection टूटा हुआ है। अगर
Hmm.
plumbing का काम कहीं पे चल रहा है, if a municipal government or a government is digging down on something to whatever, digging roads or refurbishing something, then you can see where the network is getting clogged. You can redivert it. So it can be. It has a very large use case for telecom companies, for power grids, power distribution, for telecom networks, for gas distribution, for all of these where there is actually a control panel required. That's where it is important.
I lost him. Okay.
Okay.
I have one question
Even
now. So, but like if you said the fiber is cut, the
Mm.
internet fiber, so it will have to put a lot of sensors all around the network to know where it was been cut or something like that, right?
नहीं तुम्हारा अभी वो फाइबर जाके डेटा दे रहा है एक बिल्डिंग को, अभी वो बिल्डिंग में इंटरनेट
हाँ
खत्म हो गया, नहीं आ रहा, इंटरनेट
हाँ
कंजम्पशन इज ऑफ इन दैट एंटायर बिल्डिंग, you can monitor that, right? You don't need additional
okay
sensors. So using that data you can figure out where the problem is, right?
okay right
So that depends on like sometimes you need geotagged assets, sometimes you don't need geotagged assets. So it all depends on the use case and what you're using it for, how intensive it is and stuff like that.
can you
okay
use it in
cool.
like airplanes and ships and all of those things also to check
Those
machinery on a
things,
time to time?
no, I don't know. Machinery के लिए होता होगा, but that is digital twins. So there are two concepts. Why I was talking about digital twins is that digital twins का concept can also be replicated at an entire city level. So an entire
City level,
city's
okay.
digital twin can be created, and you can
Understood.
monitor कि traffic किधर है, any disruption in power, waste management का क्या scene है, urban
Hmm.
planning करना है, अगर metro का line बिठाना है तो कहाँ से बिठा सकते हैं, permission का issue कहाँ पे है, बीच में land parcel, do we own it or not? Is there a forest in the middle? Is the topography
Is
okay
there
or
a
not?
pipeline or something down under,
Yeah,
like where they
so you
want
can
to
do
dig and
everything.
everything? Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So with a digital twin city, you can not only analyze and use the data to map stuff out, but also utilize it for real time operational stuff. Like for example, if there is just a use case, random one, there is a hospital and there is an emergency, और वहाँ पे एक ambulance भेजनी है. So you can monitor traffic at that point in time and probably find an alternate route or communicate that or whatever, right? So you can do stuff like that also. So it has a lot of use cases. Like even if there's a natural disaster, you want an evacuation route for a certain affected area. So you can plan out your evacuation accordingly. So there's
On the
too
digital
many use
twin.
cases. Yeah,
Yeah.
Like a virtual evacuation and all, you can see.
Yeah.
yeah.
And plus real time you can see that what kind of damage where like a disaster has made. So
Right.
that's nice.
So
There are a
you
lot
will
of
get a better picture of this using an F1 example. F1 car जब भी ट्रैक पे होता है, you get every time,
yeah,
all time data, real time data of every part,
data.
every component in that. कि कहाँ पे heat ज़्यादा है, which brake is heated, which tire is heated or not.
But
Like all
that they
those
put
data you
like
get in real time.
thousands of
Yeah,
sensors for that on one F1
yeah,
car.
yeah. So just like that, you'll get the data of real time in of the city.
Okay, that's amazing.
So that will be
So
used for
basically,
better city planning.
yeah. So India, like the government has launched this new policy called the geospatial. What is it called? Sorry,
Geospatial image mapping. हाँ,
what is the
geospatial mapping.
policy?
अच्छा ये डिजिटल ट्विन डिजिटल ट्विन ही नाम है
Sorry, the geospatial policy altogether. What is it called?
द नेशनल जियोस्पेशियल पॉलिसी
Okay, yeah, I know that's simple.
द नेशनल जियोस्पेशियल पॉलिसी
So they released that with like a ton of things, like who regulates the entire industry, who the data ownership is supposed to be with, how users will be able to use this stuff, geospatial data. And this policy also mentions that India wants to create digital twin cities for better urban planning and for better operational stuff. अगर ये किया, मतलब अगर ये implement हुआ और ये implement होगा ही 2035 तक, then again, whoever has got a sort of early movers advantage in terms of mapping the entire thing out, in terms of providing this data to the government will win. And in that, again, Genesis comes into the picture.
Yeah.
How that Tejas will tell.
हाँ वो मतलब अभी मैपिंग कर रहा है तो इट विल डू मैपिंग फॉर गवर्नमेंट ऑल्सो जैसे गूगल के लिए
अरे,
कर रहा
like your Eri said,
मैपिंग
Eri.
कर रहा है तो कर रहा है.
है व्हाट
It was
Are the Eris deal and all of that, like how it is doing it, like with who?
हाँ
it was
अच्छा
like a
वैसे
very circle type reply, huh? Like that Munna bhai circle type reply. अभी
हाँ,
mapping कर रहा है तो कर रहा है.
अभी कर रहा है तो कर रहा है हाँ so Genesis has a contract with Bentley which is an American based company and Eris uh, not that Bentley this is a different Bentley so these two companies will be using the data collected from Genesis and converting that data uh, into better like जो डेटा ऐसा होगा जो you can be analyzed इमेजरी नहीं होगा डेटा तो वो डेटा यूज करके फिर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर प्लानिंग में अगर लाइक सागर सेड की कहाँ पे ट्रैफिक ज्यादा है तो वो एरिया में ट्रैफिक कम कैसे हो उसके लिए सारा प्लानिंग जो होगा दैट सॉफ्टवेयर विल बी डेवलप्ड बाय बेंटली एंड एरिस दैट इज द थिंग
so they've already done this for a couple of cities, no?
या
Not at a
पुणे
full scale, but Mahabaleshwar or something.
महाबलेश्वर वन सेकेंड क्या क्या था
Mahabaleshwar
यार
and
आई डोंट
Kochi or
रिमेम्बर
something. They had done something.
या कोची महाबलेश्वर यार यू डिलीटेड द इमेज क्या
No, I
They've
didn't
done it
delete
in.
anything.
You only Sagar, you only do everything. Huh? बेचारा
अरे इमेज था
सागर.
भाई यार द इमेज इज गॉन
अरे that
They've done
edited
it
में
in
रहेगा ना. Edited में रहेगा ना
Jaipur
हाँ
like
सो
and
दे हैव डन इट फॉर कानपुर महाबलेश्वर मरीन ड्राइव धारावी जयपुर कोची कोयम्बतूर अयोध्या
I think
all
Amravati
these
is also
cities
done.
that
There was something big about Amravati also on the digital twin cities part. I'm not entirely sure what, but
So they did Kanpur. For Kanpur they did, na? Amravati का क्या है?
Amravati का भी कुछ है. This is the first
Amravati.
digital twin at a large scale in India or something like that.
What is
No,
Amravati famous
and
for? Like, is there a temple over there?
ये geography class तेरा
Amravati,
Amravati, you know where it is
हाँ
situated. Firstly,
Yeah. It's in Maharashtra only.
where?
I have someone
चल,
who goes,
wait.
who keeps on going.
We'll do this geography quiz
Which
with
side?
Laksha. New segment,
Hey,
geography
Tarak
quiz
Mehta,
with Laksh.
Tarak Mehta quiz,
yeah,
yeah.
nice one. Every week we should do this.
Everybody gets one question to ask Laksh, and yeah, we'll see how many he answers. Okay. So
Such,
Laksh,
Sagar, you start.
first question from me.
such, such deep
Yeah.
holes, na yola.
Okay, Laksh. What is the capital of Turkey?
Istanbul.
Sagar, you're frozen.
Yeah. But is it correct? I think it's
Wrong time.
Yeah.
It's correct, na?
Yeah.
Arey, he got, look, Sagar got such a shock listening to the answer.
Sagar, he answered.
Wait, his net is not
Sagar.
back. He'll take like 1 minute to come back. In the meanwhile, guys, please subscribe to the channel and make everyone you know subscribe to the channel. We put in a lot of effort every single week to get to
Yeah.
where we are. And do
Geography
drop
questions that we
us.
are going to ask. Laksh
Yeah,
are
no,
waiting.
but on a serious note, drop us a like if you enjoyed this video. Comment any other things that we should cover or any topics that you think you feel we should cover. And please subscribe to the red button down here, somewhere out there. And do check our previous
Subscribe,
video. Click
subscribe.
here or here. In the meanwhile, Sagar's
Sagar
gone.
is gone.
We'll put in like a time break, like how Tanmay Bhatt does now. That is a subscribe karo, and then the music comes in between.
What music?
You haven't seen all. ऐसा they just play like a
No,
melody tune features.
no, I don't see.
It's fine. We are
Anytime.
catching Tanmay Bhatt soon. Yes, it's Istanbul.
Oh, he's still there or what?
Arey, I answered. You
Yeah.
got shocked and then you left the meeting.
Oh, no, I got disconnected. No, Istanbul is the wrong answer. Anyway,
Eh? It's the wrong answer.
it's Ankara.
Ah, man, this. I
I
didn't
think you
know.
didn't like my question. We'll see the others. No, Tejas, your turn. Ask.
No, I liked your question. I didn't know. I didn't know it existed also.
What is the
Last time,
capital of Netherlands?
oh, Netherlands. Amsterdam? No.
That is capital for you, na?
Wait, yeah. That bloody Max Verstappen is from there. Hate that guy.
हाँ, गूगल करके तो कोई भी आंसर बता देगा बे.
हाँ ना.
Acha, wait, we have to. This is actually not up Lakshya's alley. We'll ask him better questions which are more embarrassing losses for him.
Hey,
Like I'll tell you
Amsterdam
what.
is. Bro, Amsterdam, I was correct. Huh.
Acha,
Holland.
one second.
Holland?
No. Holland is a region in Netherlands. It's not the
It is the capital.
No, Amsterdam is. Amsterdam
Amsterdam
is
is
the
the
capital
capital.
city.
ए तेजस का भी ज्योग्राफी खराब है. हटा.
नहीं,
boys.
Oh, Amsterdam was earlier called Holland, क्या? Then.
No, there is a
No,
region in
that
the
is-
Netherlands which is called Holland.
Holland,
And
yeah.
it
Oh,
is a big
Netherlands was called Holland.
they wrongly call it Holland. It is not replaceable. The locals will get very angry if you actually go and call them,
Yeah,
like you
bro.
say that you're from Holland. They'll say Holland is a region in Netherlands. It is not the whole of Netherlands.
And a player
Okay.
in Man City, Haaland.
Yeah, just because
bad.
your geography knowledge sucks, you're making up for it by showing
But
off.
puns are good. Acha, no, but you were going to ask me another question, no?
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
acha.
a more embarrassing one.
Hey, not embarrassing. Me and Sagar have a deal, na? Tarak Mehta,
What deal?
TMKOC
Yeah.
for life. अच्छा, okay,
Chal,
ask your
the embarrassing one.
yeah, चलो embarrassing तो embarrassing.
Chal, take है. What continent is um,
Bro, I
what
continue.
continent is Morocco in? ये किसी को नहीं आता. तेजस का भी आंखा ऐसा रोल हो रहा है आंख.
नहीं, I was thinking.
Chal, this is a question for everybody then. If nobody knows.
I don't know, bro.
Embarrassing for everyone. What?
I don't know.
Naman, what is your answer?
Africa, I guess. Morocco is in Africa, no?
Laksh, what is your answer?
No, let Tejas go na. Today I decide who goes first and second. Tejas
Africa
gets to
only.
decide.
Africa.
Africa. मरेंगे तो सब साथ में मरेंगे. Simple.
No, Africa only. Good, good.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
see, we know our geography, boys.
We मत
You
कर
were
तू.
just
You तो relied on the
yeah.
other.
तू copy किया.
Yeah,
You were shooting the gun on our
yeah.
shoulders.
We grew as a team.
He was gonna say
It,
Europe.
yeah.
Yeah, that's commonly mistaken.
I was like, Europe में है क्या?
Yeah,
Then I was like, no, it doesn't sound like a European. अच्छा,
that is
ask me one
Monaco.
Tarak Mehta. Yeah, ask me one Tarak Mehta का.
Tarak Mehta geography question I'll ask you.
हाँ चलो geography. One Tarak Mehta.
Okay. Which part of Mumbai is Powder Gully in?
Goregaon East.
Question. This is too
Oh
easy.
damn.
यार.
That was like 0.25 seconds past.
Hey bro, Tarak Mehta, they should be. Chalo, I'll ask you one Tarak Mehta question.
But
Open
it
for
has to
the
be a
floor.
geography question, na? Since it's
For geography.
or some place they visited or whatever, some place they're from, anything. But
हाँ हाँ.
geography has to be there.
Geography only, yeah.
Where was Jethalal? Where when he? No, that is damn easy. Yeah, that's damn easy.
England है उसका answer.
नहीं.
Rajasthan.
This, yeah, Kutch, run of Kutch.
Oh,
See,
that's
That
Sagar
is
gets
Gujarat,
it.
Rajasthan थोड़ी.
गुजरात
अच्छा,
में.
whatever.
हाँ वो लक्ष्य को पता नहीं होता. तू मध्य प्रदेश बोल दे हाँ बोलेगा वो.
अरे but
उधर
you
ही
also
भाई
said
क्या
Gujarat नहीं Rajasthan. Your geography is also bad.
अरे that he was on a camel ना तो भाई राजस्थान में भी रहता है camel. अरे no चलो where is Jethalal from?
बचाओ.
Jethalal.
Oh damn.
हाँ.
Nice.
Damn easy bro.
Not मालूम थे.
Well, what area is the shop in? Uh, फंस गए बाबू भैया.
पार्ला ईस्ट.
No. Even I don't know, but it's not part.
अरे what nonsense. क्यों पूछता है ऐसे तुम्हारा?
या अंधेरी ईस्ट होगा.
Shop address. Yeah, I think it's Andheri East.
तेरी
Andheri
गली
East,
अंधेरी
yeah.
है.
अरे this is तो
But
ये
ये
लोग
कोई अलग बंदे ने गेड़ा इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स नाम से शॉप खोला है. ये जेठालाल का शॉप नहीं है.
bro,
जो सब गूगल कर रहे हैं.
हाँ, it's Andheri East. Ashok Nagar Andheri East. चलो.
अच्छा sorry, where did we leave the podcast?
So the financials are
So the
done yet.
financial parts are, yeah.
Do you want to
Financial
cut
channel.
this part in between so we'll put like a break?
No, we can include it. Na?
No.
We'll leave it to the whoever is
Editors.
editing it. Sir, please, if you want to include this also.
Yeah.
Sir, देख लेना. Edit में देख
Whoever
लेना
is
sir.
watching till 55 minutes is going to watch the whole thing.
Yes. I pity them, but it's fine.
The fuck,
So,
bro?
financial.
We are doing so much mehnat, and you're saying we
मतलब-
pity them for.
अरे मतलब बकचोदी तो इतना कर रहे हैं भाई. That's
So
also
that is
it's
what they are in
it's
for, na?
financials. Yeah, that's also not the
Okay,
editors.
so okay.
Muting.
Sorry. So, so yeah, so basically ठीक है, everything big, Street View आ गया, Google का contract आ गया, Government of India का potential contract आ गया, but what does it mean in terms of numbers, Tejas?
So it has been doing good for the past 2 years. It has grown its revenue by 50%, but valuation wise,
50% every year. So
yeah,
that's
50%
been
every.
quite crazy. And
Quite
even
crazy.
like
Yeah.
I think the last 2 years have been so dramatic that it's not only revenue, even they are like for example profitability. They had done a 3 crore EBITDA loss in FY21, and from there they've turned to like a 58 crore EBITDA profit. So like from -4% margin, they've gone to 32% margin in
32%.
just 2 years. So
And
that's been like magical.
40
Stock
crore
price,
loss in that year, na?
yeah, but
40
वो कोई
crore loss
exceptional
in
item
20.
होगा उसमें.
हाँ, stock price is currently 350, and it is like EV at EBITDA multiple is around 12, but it has been average like in the historicals, it has been trading at 26 times. So even if it goes back to those levels, the price will be around 750 rupees,
You can't say
which
that.
is
Yeah, we can't say that. Editor,
cut,
edit. Cut.
cut. So it has a
Okay, we
lot
will get.
of upside left,
Of potential.
and yeah, a lot of potential left. And not only if it goes back to 26 levels, but if it does better than that because of the geospatial mapping thing and because of the Google deal, then the upside will be a lot more than that.
Or can we say
That
that?
was also
No,
not
no.
correct.
That
You
also no.
can't
We
say.
can't give any upside
तो क्या
information.
बोलने का?
Just say that
Cut entire
historically,
Tejas' part.
yeah,
Cut all of the financials. We should
we
do
can say
financials
not
and
all, not all,
closing.
not all. Let
Not
Sagarsh
all.
be there. Yeah,
Yeah.
only
No,
from
Sagar
the
so
will
okay.
say.
India.
Start here. So okay, so basically the stock has grown like 50% CAGR, not stock, the revenue has grown 50% CAGR over the last 2 years. And margins have improved from like minus
Negative 4,
4% to 32% now,
32.
all in 2 years. And obviously, like a lot of revenue growth does that. But the whole point is that the Google deal has just about come in, and the Indian government has not yet fully ramped up in terms of their execution on creating digital twins. So a lot of this is I mean the entire project is just beginning, both these projects, and there seems to be a lot of runway left when it comes to both these projects from a 5-10 year perspective. And clearly there is a translation from all these projects being sexy and in the news to actually numbers being cosmetically, not cosmetically, actually enhanced as well. So the stock price actually in the last 2 years went from like $60 to 650, and now it's come down to around 350 or whatever. But at 350, it trades at a valuation of like 12 times EV EBITDA on a forward basis. And historically, even with poor financials, barring the last 2 years, it has on average traded at about 24, 26 times EV EBITDA. So, despite the increased potential, despite high visibility, the stock seems to be trading at a massive discount compared to what it's historically traded at.
Yeah.
That definitely makes this stock worth sort of keeping on the watch list or keeping an eye on in terms of proceedings and what can happen over
In
the
the
next 5 10
future.
years.
And the company as well. We have another new
Yes,
member to the podcast.
new member right at the finish to say goodbye.
The cutest member of them all. So
Yeah,
bro, it
too cute.
yeah. At least not for us, then for a new member, please subscribe and share it with all your dog lovers. They're in for a treat.
Yes. And that's a wrap.
And that's a wrap.